But I challenge the national resistance movement that out of your millions and millions of members, you can't find somebody better than somebody who has messed up parliament. Are you so poor? It doesn't have to be me. But I also told them that now that we have this cooperation agreement, which under Article 7 allows us to introduce new areas of cooperation. And we are proposing that the speakership becomes a new area of cooperation. We are actually acting within the cooperation agreement. That is to be discussed. It requires agreement. If our partners don't agree, that's okay. But you cannot say, I'm not even going to discuss it. Instead, you find people saying, stay in the compound, don't enter the bedroom. The last time, the Prime Minister was in Chotera, and she said that NRM had married DP. Which marriage remains in the compound? If you are married, marriage means full access. They were proudly saying, ababa DP twaba wasa sibe bagamba. Kati wembanga muli mbufumbo. Ebyo obufumbo bigwera mu lujja oba bigenda ne mu kisenge. Ebyobufumbo bigenda buli wamu. Toyinza gamba nti tuli bafumbo naye tujja kusigala mu lujja. Obwo tebuba bufumbo. So, as it were, they are the ones who said they had married us. Then they are the ones who are now saying, don't come to the bedroom. I think that is a bit problematic. So Chankwanze worked because members of NRM put a lot of pressure on their party not to ring-fence the position of Speaker. And that's why the President has freed the members of Parliament to vote for a Speaker for the 12th Parliament. The only thing that the members of NRM need is freedom to vote for a Speaker who is qualified and suitable for the 12th Parliament, which is going to be the Parliament to deal with serious challenges, including transition. Including the issues of national dialogue, including national reconciliation, transitional justice. So we do not want a speaker who says, I'm a good speaker because as long as there's a remote control, there will be somebody pressing buttons and I'll just be moving as required. A speaker is not there for himself or herself. A speaker is there for the members of Parliament and the people of Uganda, because that house belongs to the people. So I am now calling upon the citizens of Uganda, please start calling your members of Parliament and advise them that you will be waiting in 2031. Right now, they are abusing the citizens of Uganda because my rating has not gone below 70% among the general public. Even if you go now to that garage, you, the media, just go to the garage and ask them, who would you vote for Speaker? They will tell you Nobert Mao. But these are the people who voted for those MPs who are now abusing them. The Baganda say, omukadde akwatira ku mmere ye. That will be in 2031. For now, they have forgotten who sent them to parliament. So every new member of parliament, every member of the 12th parliament should ask one question. What do my voters want? That adui number one is corruption. So, if you have someone who has been identified with corruption, it only means that that person will attract also the corrupt. The president went further by even calling out Honorable Sise Namuju, who is one of the top campaigners of the incumbent speaker, and asked her, how many days did you spend in prison? And said, you know, this one I arrested her. But now she's my friend because she has given me information about other thieves who I'm now going to tackle. What message does that send to you? So if you say you are fighting malaria, can you be a friend to mosquitoes? Also, if there is somebody with a stench of corruption, you know, a stench will attract flies. And if you, however much you spray the flies, the only way to get rid of them is to remove the stench and throw it away. The flies will follow it wherever it will go. This is what I witnessed in Chankwanze. And I repeat, this is really not so much about me. That's why I'm rather relaxed, because I'm not very desperate. There are those who are saying that Mao is using this to bargain for a bigger position. Being a minister is a very big position. But also, a minister serves the president. I don't do my job. I do the president's job as a minister. As a matter of fact, on the 12th, we are handing over to the permanent secretary. All ministers are handing over to the permanent secretary. And then you wait for the president to form his government, because he's the one who has executive power. So why do people talk as if they must die in a particular position? It is up to the president to decide. For me, I'll remain member of parliament elect. As member of parliament elect, I'm ready for anything. Because appointments to the cabinet are a prerogative of the president. He is the one to decide who he wants to assign what position. But I think he saw in me something, and that's why he kept that position vacant for 1 year. Deleted. We never had a chance to talk, but on the last day, the one who was deleting us was also deleted from the list of speakers. So, to a certain extent, the books were balanced. It was a bit of a draw, because she had been announced as somebody who would also speak. But then, when the president arrived, the program changed, and they said the Secretary General of NRM would invite the Vice President, who would invite the President, full stop. And I glanced out of the corner of my eye to see how things were. So I saw it and I said, well, Katonda jali teyeva se ate tali anguzi. You can't buy kits from God, you know. So I was disappointed to that extent. I'd really prepared a nice paper. I think now I may have to present it on TikTok. So I'll call somebody with a good camera, then I have to deliver the lecture. Because I think it is good for the NRM majority in parliament to know that the opposition are not enemies of the government. Because the opposition is supposed to criticize the government and eventually replace it if the people agree. That's what the opposition is. It is only the opposition of Uganda that takes pride in being in opposition permanently. I see always they say, Fengabo opposition. They even take pride. Oh, you see what opposition? Surely. I am really amused by some Ugandan politicians. I don't want to be in opposition. The reason I'm in opposition is because I don't have the numbers. So I must continue getting the numbers so that I become the government, so that the other guys can go in opposition. But now here, you have the opposition who take so much pride that they are in opposition. Yet it is something negative, really. I detest that kind of attitude. So, but what objectives was I able to achieve? Number one, I had a chance to show my true self to the new members of parliament. I think most of them had been misled that I was an intruder. But they saw that I was invited on the instruction of the chairman of the party. There are some of you who are trying to water down the invitation on social media, that everybody has been invited, even the opposition. Where are their letters? You see, there are those who are invited by card, then there are those who are invited as Aboku Chalo. So, the village mates, I was not invited as Owoku Chalo. I was invited on the instruction of the chairman and given a prominent seat in the front. Secondly, I was able to listen to very good lectures, including from the president, from the OWC team, the Kenyan visitor who came from Kenya's ruling party. There was a very good paper by General Sabit Muzei on security. There was another very good paper from the head of the public service, Lucy Nachobe, which was on the question of corruption. So it left only one question, that as members of parliament are electing the speaker, they should ask themselves, what kind of speaker can best fight corruption in parliament? It is as simple as that. Their answer will tell you how serious they are about fighting corruption. So who can best lead parliament in fighting corruption? That is the question. And I'm offering myself as somebody who has served very faithfully in the NRM government for the last 4 years almost. Some people are asking, what has he done in the Ministry of Justice? Let me tell you, we are going to have a magistrates court in every constituency. We are going to have a high court in every district. Courts of appeal are now being decentralized. We even finished our headquarters in Naguru there. I think you have seen we have moved. And the one of parliament, you pass there daily. How long has it taken to finish that small structure? But individual projects are being finished. The one of the public cannot be finished. You journalists are really nice people. You look, but you don't see. And you ask, what has he done? We have mainstreamed alternative dispute resolution. I took the alternative dispute resolution policy to parliament, to cabinet. It passed. The other day, we took the Magistrate Courts Act. We are increasing the jurisdiction of magistrates so that we can free the High Court to deal with backlog. When I joined the ministry, immediately 2023, I hosted the musicians, the Cindy's, the Kenzos. I even went to where they were having their events during the lockdown. I met all of them there. I brought them to the ministry. We worked on the copyright law. It passed. Musicians are going to eat from their sweat. Then you ask, what has Mao done as a minister? It's really amazing.